Hi, it's Maggie the Irish Gypsy here to bring you your April 2021 mid-month general readings. We are looking at the last 2 weeks of April, and this reading is for the air sign of Libra. Welcome, everyone. I hope you're all safe and well and healthy where you're at. Thanks for taking the time to tune into this video, to this YouTube channel. Thanks for all that you do to support it, your comments, donations, feedback, reaching out for personal readings, all welcome and appreciated, and may it be returned to you tenfold. So this reading is for Libra for the last 2 weeks of April 2021. That's if your sun, moon, rising, or Venus sign is in Libra. It's also relevant if you're cross-watching for a Libran. Of course, it's a general reading, which means it's always going to resonate a little differently for everyone in the details and specifics, although the energy fundamentally remains the same. So watch all of your signs for additional insight and perspective. If you find that any of the readings resonate with you and you'd like to reach out for a personal reading or information, you can click on the arrow below the little description link, which will give you some contact information. You can email me at Maggie1McGuire@gmail.com. I'd be delighted to hear from you. I can usually respond within the same day with more information. I do offer a wide variety of readings in all areas of life, and I do readings full-time. It's all that I do, so I'm pretty diligent about working with everyone's schedules to get personal readings set up as quickly as possible. I'd be most happy to work with you and delighted to hear from you. If you're interested, just shoot out an email. Okay, Libra, let's see what's in store for you for the last 2 weeks of April 2021. I am using the Tarot of Dreams and clarifying with, I believe it is Gateway to the Divine Tarot. Libra. Okay, we begin with the Four of Cups. That's always my card for, I don't know. I don't know if I want to. With the Three of Cups. Invitations, maybe opportunities to re-engage, but not really sure. The Chariot. Success through ambition, drive, perseverance. And Faith, which in other decks is referred to as the Hierophant. Although in this deck, it's more pointing towards having faith or being called on a spiritual or intuitive level. The High Priestess. Ooh. Spirituality. Again, intuition pulling you somewhere. We have Faith and the Priestess here. So basically in other decks it would be the High Priestess and the Hierophant. The two most spiritual characters in the tarot. The Priestess comes with the Three of Wands. Looking towards your future. Feeling more positive and optimistic about your future. From the bottom of the deck, overall energy is Temperance. Wow. Balance, moderation, being called to find, temperance is about staying centered, not making drastic decisions based on impulsivity. It's also about kind of it's quite a spiritual card as well, being grounded and trying to align yourself with, your own true purpose and path in life, which I feel is what's going on here for a lot of you. But in the process or the transition of trying to align yourself with what you feel you're really meant to be doing in life, or what's the purpose of your life, it can be quite uncomfortable because you feel a bit lost, maybe a bit without an anchor. But yet you have these three major arcana cards here, which all have a very strong spiritual theme and spiritual pull. It might be towards a specific religious or spiritual path. But I feel here, Libra, like many of you are feeling like a boat out in the ocean with no anchor. And you feel like you're supposed to be headed somewhere, but you're just not quite sure what. There's a feeling of restlessness and maybe a bit of discontent because it feels like you're not where you're supposed to be doing what you're supposed to be doing. There may be opportunities here for you to re-engage, to be social again, to kind of have invitations and go out. I know wherever you guys are, we're at different places in the world with, COVID and vaccinations and all of that kind of stuff. The Three of Cups is a card of kindred spirits, of socializing, of finding your tribe, your, positive connections in your social community. But over it, we have the Four of Cups, which is somebody who is, it has 3 cups that are full, that are upright there, and there's one being offered to him. He's looking at it, but not really quite sure. It feels, Libra, like you're... Because I'm feeling it too, and it's difficult to kind of nail it down. It's kind of like, okay, so maybe life is starting to move forward again, and I have the opportunities to go back to this and to start doing this again, maybe to go back to my job and my social activities and, this thing and that thing. But, I'm not sure if I really want to do that. I'm not sure, I feel like maybe if it's kind of slowly but surely returning to your old life, or returning to the way, or some semblance of the way things used to be, you're not sure if you want that anymore. You feel maybe this sort of intuitive or spiritually based kind of pulling towards something else, something that's different than what you could go back to, or what you're being invited to, or what there's opportunities to do. And you're not quite sure what that is. It may be that for some of you, especially with all the up and down and lockdowns and loosening up and lockdowns again and everything that we've all been through in the last slightly over a year now, that now that it appears that life can begin to kind of resume again some semblance of normalcy, somewhere during the last year, you've gone through perhaps a reprioritizing and looking perhaps at the way that your life has been. And even though maybe if it wasn't bad, or maybe if it was, you're like, I want something different. I feel like I want to be geared or oriented towards something different, something better. I feel something pulling me towards something. And it's coming across here as general. So for some, as more generalized. So for some of you, it just might be your life in general. It's like, okay, I can start doing this again. I can start doing that again. But it doesn't feel the same. There's a sense of emptiness. And that sense of emptiness is usually spirit prompting us or pulling us to look elsewhere and to experiment elsewhere, to find, to put ourselves in alignment with something different, something that feels more to our true meaning and purpose in life. Now, for some of you, that might be just generalized in your whole life itself right now, this feeling that you're going through. Some of you, it might be in a specific situation or area of your life, maybe job, work, career, or relationship. Let's clarify a bit. But I feel like you're being called, meaning you're being pulled to find something that you're more in alignment with. I mean, we have Temperance, the High Priestess, Faith. These are all major arcana cards that represent being in alignment with yourself, with what you feel you need to be doing. And something's calling you, something's pulling you. Something that's going to create a better and brighter future for yourself. Let's clarify this Three of Cups. Four of Cups, Three of Cups. It's feeling like, okay, I can get back on the merry-go-round again, but I don't know if I really want to get back on the merry-go-round again. I feel like I'm being pulled in another direction. What's this about? You're trying to find your balance. You're trying to find what you're really in alignment with. The Nine of Swords, stress, anxiety, worry about the future. This card usually shows up when there's an unknown future and you're kind of stressing out about it and trying to pre-write it, and it's often negative. The Seven of Coins, reflection, contemplation. Look at all the work I've put into something. What do I have to show for it? This is like taking a look at your life and taking inventory. Okay, I've done this, and what have I gotten back, and is it decent? Do I want more? Can I get more? Should I go do something else? The Eight of Coins. Yeah, reflection and contemplation about your hard work, your efforts. What do I have to show for it? Should I make changes? What kind of changes? The Lovers. Let's see what behind that. The High Priestess. So for some of you, it might be about a relationship at a crossroads. You have the High Priestess twice. Definitely your intuition is pulling you towards something that would be in better alignment for you and your future. You're kind of reevaluating and taking inventory. That's pretty much what this whole thing is. It's like being in that state of flux, that kind of uncomfortable place of going, okay, I'm no longer really happy with what's going on in my life, even though perhaps it's not all that bad or maybe even good. It just feels like something's missing. And that missing feeling is what prompts us to kind of start exploring something else, which is what's designed to lead us to something that's in our true alignment, which is pretty general even for a general reading, because you can't, it's not personal, and each person's life path, of course, is personal. Some of you, sorry about that. Some of you, it might be about a relationship. Let's clarify the Chariot, because the Chariot is a card that represents success through fortitude, perseverance, staying focused on your goals. But underneath that is faith, aka the Hierophant. It's also a card of intuition, spirituality, a chosen path of alignment. Let's clarify the Chariot. The Chariot is a card that represents success on a difficult path, and you achieve success because you refuse not to give up. And after that is the High Priestess. Something's pulling you, even though it might be difficult, challenging. Maybe you want to be happy with what you have and not want anything more or different. The Star. All these spiritual cards. The Star is renewed faith, hope restored. It's a card that relies almost completely on faith, of devoting everything to putting one foot in front of the other, and knowing that it's going to lead to your wish fulfillment, even though you can't see how. It's a card of trust and faith, along with the High Priestess, the Hierophant or faith, Star, Temperance, the Ten of Wands, feeling overwhelmed, overburdened, it needing to come to an end. Tens represent cycle endings in the tarot. Constantly scrabbling and clawing and hustling, wanting, whether it's work and career, whether it's relationship, whatever it is in your life. It's all over this reading, Libra. So it looks like many of you are just in this place in life where you're reevaluating. You're taking inventory of what you have in your life and where you've been headed and what's been important to you and what you've invested in those things that you thought were important to you, and feeling a shift and feeling like you're being called in another direction because of that sense of something being missing. It's not quite the same. And that's a sign that we're being called to go and explore. And once you begin to do that in any way, shape, or form, Spirit usually supports that. As long as you're doing your part, they support it in bringing the right places, times, people, circumstances that will lead you to being on a life path or having a focus that's in alignment with what your true purpose in life is, or at least for this part of your life, because that can change at different times in our life. Everything has its own season. So this is about, basically, Libra, this is about life reevaluation. Again, for some of you, it might be in a specific area of life, but you feel like you're being called towards something else. Something doesn't hold the same attraction or draw that it used to. You're being called to step out of your comfort zone and explore. Some of you may already know this. Many of you may already know this. I mean, we did have the High Priestess twice. This is about trusting your intuition and trusting that feeling that's pulling on you. Some people call it higher self, gut instinct, intuition. You're being pulled towards a certain path, and many of you probably have at least an inkling of the path you're supposed to begin to walk down. There's just resistance because you're like, I don't know, it's going to be hard. What if it's going to be too hard? What if it's going to be hard? It's easier to stay where I'm at, even though it's not all that great, maybe, or that it's not all that wonderful. But if I leave and go off on another one that's exertion, and maybe it's just going to be too hard, but there's something pulling you nonetheless. So I'm just going to wrap this up with asking for some advice and guidance for Libra. Perhaps for some of you, perhaps for a lot of us, the last year has kind of shown the areas of our life in pretty stark relief that could use some change. The Empress, fertility, time to give birth to something new, time to start planting the seeds for something new. The Seven of Cups, multiple options and opportunities. The Dreaming card, go out there and explore. If you're not happy with your current job, go and look and see what's out there. What have you thought about doing? Don't have the skill set? How can you acquire it? The Devil, toxic cycles. The Magician, taking control. You have everything that you need to manifest what you want. You just have to do it. The Magician is about success that comes through a combination of your own talents along with the hard work to actually manifest something in reality. For example, and the Magician's worked really hard to get to a place where he has all the skills and tools and talents. For example, if the Magician decides that he wants to, learn how to be a great baker, he knows it's not enough just to want and to kind of visualize it. He's going to go out there, he's going to take classes, he's going to learn as much as he can, he's going to practice, he's going to do all these different things, and that's how he's going to get to where he wants to be, which is, in reality, a great baker. He's going to combine all of those things together to make it happen. The Hermit and then Judgment. I'll stop there. This is going off to figure it out. This is your chance. Judgment is kind of the wake-up call. Judgment is an opportunity to account for yourself. Okay? Judgment says the time is now to do something about something. Because later on, they can say, well, why didn't you go do this? And what can you say? This is kind of a call to action, kind of a wake-up call, a call to action. It's a call to do something. This is about going off and doing it, exploring your options. And not just exploring them by thinking and looking and researching, that's part of it, but actually becoming action-oriented about it. Okay, I think I might want to do this. Well, I don't have the skill set to do that. Okay, well then how do I gain the skill set? I have to go off and do this to gain the skill set, to learn this or to study this. And then I can have the skill set to go off and do this. It's a process, but the Magician understands that process. He knows it's not enough just to, kind of close his eyes and visualize what he wants. He has to actually go out there and figure out a plan. Okay, here's the steps I need to accomplish this dream here. But of course, it takes all these kind of goals that I need to meet and overcome in order to get there. That's what it's about. And now is the time to act. I think a lot of us have kind of gone through this or are going through this now, especially as things are starting to move along a bit. Things are starting to open up a bit more. And okay, now what do? We've had this great big huge life-changing or life-altering thing, and we've had the time, nothing but time, to kind of look at things. And now that the opportunity is, we can return to what was, but it doesn't feel the same. So this is about a call to do something different. And now's the time to do that, to act. Even if what you start off doing turns into a different path, that's fine too. What you're being called to do is step out of the front door. That's what you're being called to do here, Libra. Regardless of what area this is in or if it's just kind of your life in general. I'm not happy really all that great. It doesn't feel the same in this area. Well, explore it, do something different. It's not enough just to go, I'm not happy, but just kind of not do anything about it. You're being called to do something, to take a different path, any path, just start. All right, Libra, that is your reading for the last half of April. I hope it wasn't too esoteric. Again, if any of these readings resonate with you and you'd like to reach out for a personal reading, or get information about that, you can email me directly at maggie1mcguire@gmail.com. I'd be delighted to hear from you. You can also get that information by clicking on the little description link below, that little arrow. I will see you all in a couple of weeks for the May general readings. Until then, please stay safe and well and blessed, and I hope to see you back here again soon. Bye-bye.